Ada was that girl, fine, smart. She could walk into a room and shift the atmosphere without even trying. But more than anything, Ada was soft-hearted. The kind of babe that believed in love like it was a gospel. She wanted the butterflies, the text messages that made your heart race. The guys who knew how to say all these right things. And that was her problem. Ada didn't know it yet, but she was about to fall into the trap a lot of women do, choosing the men who knew how to yearn, instead of the men who were sent to heal. Back in uni, Ada had two options, and they were both in her life at the same time. One was Tolu, a tall, light-skinned, full beard, and a smooth talker. Tolu could write love poem in his sleep. That kind of guy that would post, "I want a woman who knows peace," on WhatsApp status and get 50 replies. On the other hand, there was Chuka, a quiet, deep voice, never said too much, wore the same jeans 3 times a week, and minded his business. But if you ever needed anything, a ride home, help with your project, even just small ginger on a bad day, Chuka was there. No drama, no noise, just presence. Ada liked Chuka, but she wanted Tolu. You see the difference? Tolu could say all the things Ada was craving. He would text her in the middle of the night like, "I just had a dream that we got married and moved to Ghana. I think it's a sign." Ada's heart would scatter. Meanwhile, Chuka would just help her carry her bag after class and say, "You look tired today. Eat before you sleep." No spark, no butterfly, just care, like real care. Ada was 22, and like most of us at that age, she mistook fireworks for forever. So she picked Tolu, and for a while, everything was sweet. Tolu would send her a playlist with love songs, take her out to bougie spots, even posted her one time on his story. Just her hand though, you know that one, yeah. But over time, Ada started noticing something. Anytime she was down, like really down, Tolu would disappear. And if she was crying about family issues or overwhelmed with school, Tolu would say, "Babe, I don't like negative energy. Can we talk when you're feeling better?" Meanwhile, Chuka, he would still check in even after she stopped replying his message and say, "Hope you're okay. I know exams are rough right now. Sending you strength." Ada would see the message, feel something in her chest, but ignore it. She didn't want Chuka, not then. Because Chuka didn't give her the rush. He didn't make her feel high. But Tolu, oh, he knew how to make her feel like the main character until he didn't. One night, Ada had a full breakdown. Family drama, school stress, and Tolu nowhere to be found. She cried herself to sleep. The next morning, she woke up to a bank alert from Chuka. Small money, just 5,000. But the narration in the message said, "I know you haven't been eating well. It's not much. Please take care of yourself." Ada stared at the alert like it slapped her across the face. That was the first time she started to see the truth. But guess what? By the time Ada realized who the real one was, life had already moved. So Ada seized the 5K from Chuka. Small money, yes, but it hit different. Because for the first time, she realized something nobody tells you when you're young and in love. A man doesn't have to be rich to be a provider. Sometimes, provision is peace, safety, emotional intelligence, a guy who notices you're off and doesn't wait for you to cry before he acts. But Ada still wasn't ready to admit she's made the wrong choice. Because Tolu, he was still fine, still posting gym selfies, still sending her, "Good morning, my love," still inviting her to lodges and dinners and parties that made her feel sane. So even though something in her chest was starting to feel unsettled, she stayed. But Chuka, he started pulling back. That man had sense and dignity. He still greeted Ada on campus, still nodded politely when he saw her, but the messages stopped. The random checks in, they were all gone. His energy was gone from her completely. Ada didn't notice at first until the day Tolu humiliated her. It was a Wednesday. She had just written her last exam and texted Tolu like, "Babe, I'm done. Let's go out to celebrate. Your girl made it." There was no reply. She called, the phone was switched off. 3 hours later, she saw his story. Tolu was in a restaurant, candlelight, 2 glasses and a girl. Not her. They were sitting across from each other. Her heart sank. And just like that, all the yearning, the cute texts, the sweet talks, none of it mattered. Because the one thing she was craving, consistency, and that's one thing Tolu never gave. She cried all night. And this time, not because she was shocked, but because she knew she had seen the signs and she ignored them. She romanticized them. She picked noise over nurture. And now she was sitting in the silence. Sometimes it's not that we don't know what we need. We just don't think it's exciting enough. We say we want peace, but we choose passion. We say we want consistency, but we crave chaos disguised as chemistry. And then, when it all falls apart, we sit with the pain and ask, but how? The answer is simple. We choose the yearners and left the healers unread. 2 months passed. Ada had not heard from Tolu. He ghosted completely. But Chuka was glowing. He got a tech internship in Lagos, started posting pictures from office, elevator, and beach hangouts with his new friends. He even changed his profile picture to a photo where he wore a suit. Ada felt it in her chest, not jealousy but regret. You see, she never gave him a real chance. She never asked how he was doing, never said thank you for all those little things. She just enjoyed the care, but never considered the cost. So she did what most of us have done at least once. She tested him. "Hey Chuka, been a while, I hope you're good." And he replied, short and sweet, "I am, I hope you are too." And that was it. No softness, no warmth, no let's catch up, just boundaries. Ada read that message 5 times. She wanted to reply, to say something, just anything. But for the first time in her life, she didn't know what to say. That night, Ada lay on her bed and asked herself a question that cracked her open. Why did I wait until he glowed to see his worth? It wasn't about Chuka anymore. It was about her patterns, her wound, our own idea of what love should look like instead of how it should feel. And in that moment, Ada made a decision that changed her life forever. Ada didn't reply Chuka's text, not because she didn't want to, but because she knew she had lost that right. That kind of peace, that kind of care, it's not something you circle back to casually when you once treated it like a backup plan. So she did something nobody expected. She took a break from dating. No more talking stages, no more situationship that felt like emotional squatting, no more let's vibe and see. Instead, Ada started learning what real love even looked like, without needing a man to provide it. She started therapy, of course, not deep, just clinical therapy, journaling with intention, asking herself uncomfortable questions like, why do I think a man has to be loud and flashy for me to feel chosen? Why do I ignore calmness and choose chaos? What part of me thinks love should hurt first before it gets cold? Those questions, they shook her because she realized she had been repeating a pattern since childhood. Her dad was a charmer, loud, funny, full of promise, and full of disappearing acts. Her mom, the one who stayed, the one who showed love quietly through food, hugs, prayers. But young Ada, she admired her dad once because as children we were drawn to shine, not substance. So in her adult life, she kept choosing that same kind of man, the Yearners, the one who knew all the right things to say but none of the right things to do. Nobody tells you this, but healing is lonely before it's beautiful. It's not soft music and candles every night. Sometimes it's crying in the bathroom over a man who's not even worth it, just because you finally realize it's not about him, it's about you. And for Ada, that season lasted almost a year. She learned to regulate her nervous system. She learned to breathe through loneliness without rushing into the next man's arms. She read books, she took classes, she learned how to be her own comfort, and in that season, she became magnetic. Ada was back in Lagos. She had just landed a new job in a PRO firm. Nothing too loud, but she was doing herself good. She was focused, glowing, and peaceful. And one afternoon, she walked into a tech event, part of our firm's networking strategy, and guess who was there? Chuka. But this time, it wasn't broke boy Chuka. It was leveled up Chuka. He looked confident, clean, comfortable in his own skin. His startup has just received a grant. He wasn't rich, but you could tell he had become a man. And when he saw her, he smiled. That same warm smile from years ago. He said, "Ada, you look like peace." She blinked fast because those 4 words, they hit her deeper than any "I miss you" could ever. She smiled too. "You too," she whispered. Let's be honest. Sometimes we meet the right person at the wrong time. When we are still operating from wounds, when we still think the louder someone loves us, the more real it must be. But peace is not always loud and healing. It doesn't beg to be seen. It shows up quietly in a way someone checks on you, even without asking for anything back. In that way, they remembered your mom's birthday. In the way they sent 5K without fanfare, just to make sure you eat. That is love and that is care. And you deserve it. So if you're watching this and you're in a Yearners era, chasing people who breadcrumb you with passion, but starve you of peace, pause. Look around. The healer may be right there, just quiet, steady, and real. Don't wait until they stop trying before you realize they were the real one all along. Ada didn't get a second chance with Chuka, but she got something better. She got herself back. And from that place, the real love will always find you. So, sis, don't choose the loudest love. Choose the one that feels like home. Remember, Yearners are loud, healers are present. Choose well. And no matter how far you've strayed, it's never too late to come home to yourself. Bye.